What's up guys, Proper Truth here, back at it again with another deck profile for you guys, and that's my Diabolos deck. I came in second place in my locals with this and I was kind of shocked. Me and Gigi ended up in the finals. He was playing Nekroz and we pretty much went undefeated before that. But sadly, Gigi had busted my ass with Nekroz, and I feel like I kind of misplayed somewhere in that duel. I just don't know where. So Gigi, I know you know, so you better tell me so I can learn from my mistakes. But it was pretty intense. Like, I hit him with Eradicator and it was over. Like, I thought I had him, but fucking Nekroz, man, they don't even need to draw, and then they could just search. And that's the problem with the viruses. They say when your opponent draws, if it's whatever you call it, it goes to the graveyard. GG's like, oh damn, he hit me with Eradicator, fine, boom, banner, search for another spell, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, who does? I hate this deck. But Nekroz is fucking broken. GG, I gotta give it to you. We made it all the way to game 3 with that, and it was an awesome battle. So, kind of glad, you know, every time I go up against GG, he brings out my potential. Like, I don't know, when we duel, we duel for like a good 45 minutes, and we always go to game 3. So, we go at it. Like, he's like my real rival. Like, Omega is my rival, but yo, GG, you bring out the best of me, man. So much love for that. I appreciate that. So in this profile, as I mentioned before, is Diabolos. I did change it up a lot, guys. Like, it's annoying. Like, it's a lot better than the first Diabolos build that I gave you guys. Even better than Omega's Diabolos build. And Omega's build was pretty cool. But nah, I told you guys this was going to be one of my favorite decks, and I took it out to the max. I max rarity'd it all out, and I kept going with it, and I learned it. Like, I really learned. I know when to tribute, how to tribute, all that other good shit. But anyway, enough said. Let's get straight to the profile, guys. But before we do, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to show some love to Team Truth by hitting that subscribe button and that notification button too. You guys ready? Let's go. Alright guys, let's get straight to it. So, it's been a while since you guys seen my Diabolos build, but this deck is pretty dope. First up, 2 Diabolos. As you guys know, I was playing 3 back time. Wow. I can't even talk. 3 back then. I was playing 3 back then. I dropped them down to 2. 2 is like the perfect ratio in this build, since the way I have it. Can be tributed, but your opponent can't tribute it, and can be targeted. Your opponent cannot target it. Like, it's pretty dope. And I tribute a dark monster on the board, and your opponent selects a card in their hand, putting it on top or the bottom of the deck. Diabolos is so amazing. Like, a lot of people thought this deck wasn't gonna make it, but it's true, it didn't. But hopefully I can change that. Next up, you gotta play the MVP. This is like the MVP in this deck, and that's Lilith. She's a bitch. Like, I get it all the time. When I summon her, they're like, yo, she's a bitch. She is. She's gonna get rid of your shit to benefit for her. And she is amazing. Like, tribute Dark Monster on the board. You select 3 normal traps out of your deck. Your opponent randomly picks one, and it gets set straight to the back row. What I love about it is that you can't ash it. And I really like that about her. She's amazing. So you gotta play 3. I don't care what Diabolos build you're playing, you gotta play 3 of her. Next up, 3 Arima. Arima is your terraforming. You discard, add a Lair of Darkness from your deck to your hand, and if you tribute a dark monster on the board, other than himself, you can actually draw a card or search for a dark monster that has 2,000 defense or less from your, or is it 2,000 defense or more? I think it was, from your deck to your hand. And if you do tribute him, you can only draw. So I feel like you gotta play 3 because of the terraforming part. Like, that's the reason why. Plus, you know, you can clear your opponent's monster off the board. Next up, for part of the Lair of Darkness, I'm playing 1 Duke Shade. Duke Shade because he's great in defense. He can also get rid of a monster on your opponent's board, so he's like technically a kaiju. But he's really good. It's a free summon, and when he's normal special summon, you can actually target a level 5 or higher dark monster and graveyard added to your hand. So you can add Diabolos to your hand. It doesn't matter because you could still trigger his effect from the graveyard. You can also add Destrudo. So doesn't matter. Either or, they could stay in the graveyard. Then let me just do this because this is pretty much the package. 1 Tour Guide, 1 Skarm, and 1 Sangang. Like, this is pretty much your 3 fiends that you gotta play. I really like this ratio. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm really thinking about putting Propha in here, because you can actually bring out Propha. Propha died, banish a monster on your opponent's side of the field, or you know, anything pretty much. You know, you clearing your opponent's board. So I want to play a Propha in here. I just don't know the space for it. I gotta figure out space for it. So this is pretty much your 3 Dark Fiends, your level 3 Dark Fiends that you have to play. Next up is 1 Destrudo, obvious reasons, and 2 Armageddon Knights. I want to put him down to 1. I definitely am going to be putting him down to 1. I just don't know what. Like, I'm take him out and put Propha in here. That's what I was thinking about doing. But right now I'm just still testing that 2 before I make that decision. So I like it at 2, but I think Propha will be a lot better, because you don't want to normal summon as much as you can. The only thing you want to normal summon is Lilith, to be honest, or Rima. That's it. Other than that, you don't really want to normal summon. That's why I'm saying maybe Propha, because you can summon Tour Guide and then Propha will come out and then blow up and, you know, all that good stuff. Well, actually no, Propha won't die because it's effectively negated. But still, it's still good. Still good. So if you want, take 1 out, play 1 Propha. And then 2 Ash Blossoms. The funny thing about it is that Sangang searches this. And it makes it really fun, because you search it and you're like, oh, your opponent's like, fuck, he got a hand trap. You know, he's got Ash in the hand, so I gotta watch what I do. So if they got Desires in their hand, I'm definitely ashing that shit. So 2 Ashes. And that's pretty much it for the monsters. Not that many monsters, not like how I had it with the Cybers deck. Off to the spells. You gotta play your 3 Lair of Darkness. This card right here this is why people thought this deck was going to be so broken, because of the fact that you're changing attributes on the board and then you get to tribute your opponent's shit. It's really good. I love it. I love this. This is my favorite field spell. All jokes aside, I love this field spell. And only downside is that if it's not on the board, your deck slows down a little bit, and it makes it very difficult to try to fight back, because you have to have it on the board. So I'm trying to find ways to protect them. Maybe Stardust Malefic, but I'm still not too sure. Stardust Malefic also has a downside, you know, other monsters can attack. But let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Go distribute it for a virus. But and then on top of that, it provides you tokens for when you're tributing. It also provides your opponent's tokens, but you gotta watch how you do it. Me playing this deck for the longest, I pretty much got the idea of when to tribute. Next up, 2 Called by the Graves. This card, you have to, I was playing at 3, and then the ban list hit, had to drop it down to 2 and replace it with something else. I did replace it with something else. You guys will see I'm testing it, see how it works. But this card is awesome, simply because if you're trying to use a Rayma's effect to discard to add Lair of Darkness, you're gonna want to Called by the Grave this. You have to, because like I said, you rely on this field spell a little too much. And I'm still trying to, I'm learning how to play without it, and it is possible, but you gotta keep playing with the deck to learn how to do that. So you gotta play 2. I think maining it is the best solution. Next up, this is like another MVP. Ties of the Brethren. Like, this card right here, it's any level 3 or lower, any level 3 free monster that you summon in this deck and you have ties, you're gonna bring out the rest of them. I love it when you go Tour Guide, you summon a Lilith in attack mode, so it's 2000 attack, then you ties, and then you just bring out 2 other monsters, you flood the board. It's awesome. It's awesome. That's another reason why I think you need to main this, is because if they ash this, you gotta stop. You gotta stop it, because you want to bring out as much resources as you can to go off from there. The only thing is that at the end phase, if Lair's on board and you tributed anything, like, you could bring out. The crazy thing, like, this is the beauty about it. Like, you can go Tour Guide, you bring out Lilith, and then you go ties, and then you bring out Sangang and Skarn, and this is what the board ends up looking like. And then Skarn would die, so you're gonna get a search out of that, so you can search another Lilith. Then you can go Lilith, tribute, you know, it's effective negated, but you're gonna get a Sangang out of it. You're gonna get a search out of it, which you're gonna search like freaking Ash Blossom or something. So that's why I had like ties. Like, there's so many ways you can do it. You know, you just gotta see what hand you have. So I think you should be playing 3 Ties of Brethrens in here. Next up, let's see, it's pretty much the one-ups. Dragon Shrine, Monster Reborn, Terraforming, and 1 Allure. Dragon Shrine because you have 2 Destrudos, 2 Diablos, 1 Destrudo. Monster Reborn because it's Monster Reborn. The 1 Terraforming, you don't need more than 1 because of the fact that you have Arima. So this is just an extra resource to get another one or search one if you don't have it. And Allure because it's draw power and you have the whole deck is dark. Just 1 Allure. I tried playing 2 to 3 and I prefer 1. So I feel like that's the best ratio. So that's it for the spell cards, guys. Off to the traps. The Virus family. I'm still playing the 1 Crush card, the 2 Deck Devastation Viruses, 1 Eradicator, and 1 Full Force. I think this is the perfect ratio. Like I was going back and forth a lot with the viruses because I didn't know. I wasn't even playing Crush card for a while. I did play it in the beginning, as you guys saw in my last profile, but I put it back in because it does help in a way. You can clear out. The only downside is that your opponent gets to choose the dump. So if they're playing like BAs and you're like, oh my god, like you don't just side it out if you're playing against BAs or like not BAs, Blue Eyes. Why the hell did I say BAs? Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes are gonna dump so much shit in the graveyard, like oh fuck. So side it out. I'm playing 2 Deck Devastations because Deck Devastation Virus, it stops hand traps. It really stops hand traps, and going up against Cybers, like going up against Cybers is a problem. And it's like, oh my god, I'm gonna get rid of that whole hand. And most of these decks now these days is playing with little monsters, so this is the perfect solution to get rid of that. And it's a hand trap wiper, so it's beautiful. Eradicator, because it's fucking Eradicate. Like Konami, make this card at 2. Make it at 2. I think 2 will be fair. I love Eradicator. It's my favorite virus. And Full Force because it's the other version of Deck Devastation, just hits the defense. So this is like hilarious when you're going up against Gokis and you go activate and all the Gokis just die. It's just hilarious. So that's the virus. That's my virus full family right there for that. Next up, 1 Skill Drain. I play Skill Drain because remember, tributing is a cost. Even though your effect is negating, you're still getting the cost out of it, clearing your opponent's board if you have Lair on board. And Diabolos becomes a beast stick while your opponent can't activate effect. So I love Skill Drain in this deck. You can, and Diabolos, if you tribute any of your darks, like let's say if you had a token, you tribute the token with Lilith or Roma, yeah, the effects are negated, but you still tribute. Diabolos can still trigger coming out from the hand or from the graveyard. So you can't go wrong with that. Next up, 3 back to the front. You have to. This card is so busted. I love it. I love it. Like you have to play 3 Lilith. It searches for Lilith. Can't go wrong with that. It's a Monster Reborn. And then 1 Ballistic Squad, like Ballista Squad. This card is awesome if you have Lair on board because I'm gonna end up tributing your monster and then popping your card. Like Pendulums hate this because they'll somehow be like, okay, tribute your monster, pop your Pendulum Scale, and it's the most funniest shit against them. I used this on Gigi, and he was shocked about it because he was like, you should play this. I was like, I already play 1. I think you only should be playing 1, and because you can search it, and it's good, but for a moment, you know, I think 1 is just the perfect number for it. But I really like it. I caught Gigi off guard with this, so it's awesome. And last but not least, the 1 card that I took out for Called by the Grave, and that's Gozen Match. Now, Omega recommended this to me, and a good friend of mine, Jimmy, shout outs to you, because Lair of Darkness makes everything dark. So then you go and you flip and you call dark for yourself, and your opponent calls another attribute. It doesn't matter because Lair of Darkness makes everything dark. So they won't be able to summon monsters out their hand unless it's a dark. It's crazy. It's crazy because I had to confirm it with Jimmy, who's a judge. You know, he helped me out with that, and it kind of manipulates the board, and your opponent, it's like, it sucks because they're forced to call dark because it doesn't matter what they call, and it's not gonna be able to come out because everything's gonna be dark on board. So it kind of contradicts itself. It's pretty dope. I wanted to test it. It's really good. The only downside, you can't Lilith this shit. I wish you could. And it makes me want to play at least another one, or side deck another one. I'm not too sure. Now when it comes down to side deck, my side deck is pretty much the same side deck I had for Cybers. I'll still show it to you guys, because I've never really had to side deck in here unless I'm like doing the kaiju stuff, because kaijus are still a form of tribute, which I love about it. But I'll get to that in a minute. Let's just get straight to the extra deck. My extra deck is real small, guys. There's nothing serious. To be honest, these are my tokens. No, guys, you can't use these tokens in tournaments. You have to use real tokens. These are not considered tokens. It says it cannot be used in the duel. So I just use these for fun, for tokens. My centerpiece, center card. So my side deck, my extra deck is really small, guys. It's just Black Rose, Moonlight Rose, Dark Strike Fighter as Synchros, number 41, what is it, Super Quantum Mecha Beast, Grand Pulse, for Exceeds of Love, rank 3, rank 4, and then the Utopia package, which is rank 4 and rank 5, and then for links, I'm just playing Wee Witch and Archfiend Master, I think his name was. I'm playing only this because I want to put I am going to be putting the Nightmare package in it, but only Phoenix and Siberius, I think his name is. I'm going to add it in here. I just wanted to, it's just I don't really go into the extra deck like that, guys. I really don't. This is pretty much, if I go into the extra deck, it's just to summon Wee Witch Apprentice, or the Synchros. I don't even go for the Exceeds. I go the Exceeds if I really need to. Like, the only one I'll go to is probably Grand Pose and number 41. That's pretty much it, because I can go Aroma, tribute my opponent's monster, summon Duke, and then overlay into number 41, and it becomes like an issue from there. So it's very rare that I go into the extra deck, to be honest. Very rare. I never really had to. When I did the tournament at my locals, when I went up against in the finals with Gigi, I barely went into the extra deck. The only one I really did, and not for nothing, the only one I really summoned was Dark Strike Fighter for the tribute reasons, and Wee Witch Apprentice is who I summoned the most, and that was probably like twice in the whole tournament. So that's pretty much it. You guys can add more. I definitely say add the Phoenix into it and all that other stuff. Now off to the extra deck. Like I said, guys, this is pretty much my Cybers extra deck. Like, I go back and forth between both decks, the Hand Trap family, as I mentioned, but this time the third Ash will go into there. The Kaiju package, because of the fact that it's tribute, it's just tribute. Get rid of a U-Lock. You can still get rid of a U-Lock, believe it or not, with this deck, because you're tributing for cause. So I'm gonna tribute the middle. So and then you go off from there. But it's funny because I'd rather tribute a monster to summon a kaiju, so I can summon a kaiju and then tribute another monster with Lilith's effect or Diabolos effect or Aroma's effect. Like, that's what I'm saying. I can tribute 2 monsters on your board, so I decided to do the kaijus in it as well. And for spell wise, honestly, it's just a Slumber. And if you I was gonna put Raigeki, but I was like, let me see what we're gonna do for him, because my extra deck was limited. And then from here is the package of anti-spell. It can hurt you, but you can play around it. And then Heavy Storm Duster. Play one more. That I only have 14 right now in here, but I can't find my other one. You have to play 2 because you'll lose to Altergeist. So and Lilith searches this. So this is perfect. You gotta play 2, guys. You have to. So that's pretty much the build, guys. It's pretty simple, and I love this build. Like, if you guys want to still play Diablos, I highly suggest that you guys try this build out. Like, I enjoyed this build, and it's sad because I really thought Diablos was going to be able to do something, but it didn't. So there you guys have it, and thank you again for watching. So there you guys have it. That was my second place Diablos deck profile for you guys, and I really do hope you guys enjoyed it, because like I mentioned before, everybody, and I mean everybody, thought that this deck was going to be stupid tier, tributing your opponent's stuff, especially at tribute's cost. It was going to do damage, and I'll be honest, I was one of those people. I was like, this deck is busted, and I'm a big Diabolos fan since like it first came out back in the days, and I just thought the artwork was amazing. That's why I was just like, I want it. And I've been trying really hard to try to make this deck efficient and powerful and good, and so far so good. I've been keeping up with the format with it, and came in second place. It took out Pendulums, it took out Blue Eyes, it took out what I think it was it Altergeist. It was like 4 to 5 rounds, and I took out, it was Altergeist, Pendulums, Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes was hilarious because I was like, tribute your Blue Eyes, get rid of everything. But the problem is, you know, I got rid of, when I hit deck devied him, he got rid of the stone. I was like, shit. But I fought back and made it to game 3, and that was an awesome battle. But in the finals, I ended up going up against GG with his Nekroz, and that was even more amazing. So I really like how this deck is playing. If you guys really want to keep trying to make Diabolos work, I highly suggest try this build. Like, trust me, you won't regret it. You don't have to play Crush Card. Like, I'm back and forth with Crush Card. I think you can maneuver it, probably put the second Gozen match in it. That would be even more dope. But I really like it. Like, I really like this build. I like how it can actually just keep up with the format, getting rid of the U-lock by just tributing the centerpiece, you know, and it just interrupts everything. And then the viruses just can get rid of the hand, depending what you're going up against. It can be, like I said, you gotta rely on the field spell, Lair of Darkness. But you can do alternatives, guys. Like, you can play Malefic Star, keep it protected until your turn comes, then you can virus the Malefic, get rid of the Malefic, blow up their hand, your turn comes, you still have the field spell, so you can be able to go off from there. So I gotta test that as well. I want to be able to find my Malefic somewhere in this room and end up putting in a side deck. Side deck, like I said, is pretty much, I'm back and forth with the same side deck with Cyberus and Diabolos. And so far so good. Like, the Kaijus are tribute bait, so it gives you tokens and all that good shit. So I hope you guys did enjoy it, and if you did, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to show some love to the channel, to Team Truth, by hitting that subscribe button and that notification button as well. Guys, thank you for watching, thank you for tuning in, and I hope to see y'all at the next video. Later.